Thank you. Good afternoon, Wayne.
Good afternoon.
First of all, then, tell us about the one change in the starting 15.
Yeah, look, we think Adam's been playing well up until the rest last week. He's a big man. We're up against some big men. I think he's done a great job running the line out, as Corey did in the game against Italy. So it's just a switch for those two. And Corey obviously has played well in the games where he's come off the bench as well, added real impact. So we'd like that combination to continue.
And how much thought did you give to the scrum half options?
No, well, early in the week we named Gareth, and it was just whether or not Thomas would be ready in time to take some part, really. So that was cleared up Tuesday afternoon. So, yeah, Thomas comes onto the bench.
A couple more alterations among the forward replacements as well?
Yeah, I think, Nicky Smith coming in, it's really one of experience in an area of the game. I think, the propping exchanges, they've got some big men. I think experience is going to come into it. And, we're looking at fine margins in these sorts of games. So really that experience is what we went for in that position. James gives us a good coverage across the back three. So, and he's a young guy full of energy, as they all are at this time, as you could imagine.
And the French naming an unchanged starting 15 with a few alterations on the bench. What do you make of that and their result at Twickenham last week?
Oh, look, they're a very good side. We know that from the two games that we've had against them. Thought they played well and controlled that game for large parts, and we're probably desperately unlucky at the end. So, look, we know we're going to be in for a very, very big challenge, and they have quality right across the park. They come up with some great plays. The try, I thought, from the line out, was an excellent play. So we're going to have our wits about us. Obviously, they bring a lot of attacking threats, and they've also got a very, very good attacking kicking game. So I think our back three in particular are going to have a lot of work to do.
It could be the first Grand Slam secured away from home for 50 years. How much extra does that sort of prospect give you as motivation to go down in the history books?
Yeah, look, everybody's excited. It's a great week. You sort of have 7 weeks to get here, and it's finally come now, and we can openly talk about what's at stake. And we're very lucky that in our changing room, I think we're going to have 14 of the starting 15 that have won a Grand Slam before, and certainly there's plenty on the bench that have as well, and plenty in the management. So it's a lot of experience to call on these situations, which is a good place to be, really.
How about the fact that you could still win the title with a narrow defeat? Does that play into your calculations at all in the preparations, or was that be maybe just in the last 5 minutes?
Look, it's something we're aware of, the different scenarios, but obviously, you prepare prepare a team for a game of rugby, and it's an 80-minute effort, and obviously what we're trying to do is come out on top. If that's 1 point, we'd be happy, and then we win a game of rugby, and that's certainly what we're going to try and do. But we'll be aware of the score as we go, and certainly, no doubt, we'll have some discussions throughout the game.
Absolutely. I don't know if you need any extra motivation, but possibly a newspaper article this morning suggesting that it could be the least convincing Grand Slam in 30 years. That's maybe the sort of thing to pin up on the dressing room wall, is it?
Oh, look, the team's very focused, and they've worked very, very hard. And as you can see throughout the tournament, we've sort of built as we've gone. And, you don't become the perfect team overnight. It takes time, and we know we're near perfect. We know that. But certainly, look, we've got our own motivation. And as I said, with the amount of guys that have been in this position before, it's not new to them. And certainly, they're very, very focused on an 80-minute performance this week without worrying about any external motivation.
And finally, from me, increased lockdown set to come into force in Paris. You're going to have to be tighter than ever, aren't you, on the old public health restrictions? Yeah,
and it's we've been there before. So in this situation, I think there was a curfew situation when we were out in France earlier. In that warm-up test match. So very, very similar circumstances, a late kick-off time. So everything's pretty much the same in that respect.
Thanks, Wayne. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. Beth here.
Hi, Beth.
We spoke last year about the first being a coach of Wales, your first Six Nation. How do you feel personally about this being your potential first Grand Slam?
Well, feeling pretty good, obviously, to be in this position. So, yeah, excited really. Seen the boys this morning at a bit of a walk-through, jog-through. They had a bounce in their step. And look, everybody's looks as though they've prepared as well as they can. We've got one more training run this afternoon, and that'll be a short, sharp one. So we're in a pretty good space, and just excited about the opportunity that presents itself, really. Looking forward to Saturday evening.
I think last year, your son was knocked on the door, didn't he? Because he was celebrating too much when you had your first win as Wales coach. How are the friends and family watching it? And, how do you feel about not having them there with you?
Yeah, look, they're really excited. I know Bradley's working on the America's Cup at the moment, so they're pretty excited down there. They've just won that. So, look, yeah, they're like any family, really. They're very supportive, and yeah, it'd be nice if they were here, but certainly they'll be watching it. It's a perfect kickoff time for them, I think.
Last question from me. You've spoken about performances versus kind of points. How do you feel about the evolution of your team during these 4 matches and what that brings for Saturday?
Yeah, very pleased. Obviously, we're heading in the right direction. But you'll hear the players talk about it, and anyone in management. We know there's still growth in the group. That we're still looking to improve in lots of areas. We just think we're in a pretty good space right at the moment. So, we want to just go out there and it is about the performance. And if everybody delivers their roles, then we give ourselves an opportunity to win the game.
Listen, good luck. Cheers. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. It's Matt here.
Hi, Matt.
Just on the Paris lockdown, have you had assurances that this game is not in any sort of jeopardy, that everything's okay on that front?
Oh, look, yeah, no, nothing's come through at all suggesting any change.
Okay, cool. And just on the rugby side then, the stats suggest that you concede most of your points in that sort of 20 minutes before half time, and that is typically in this tournament when France have scored most of their points. Have you addressed that in training and talked about the need to sort of stay switched on for that second quarter?
Yes, we have. We talked about it on Tuesday, and we replicated some of that at training. So very well aware that they do their points differential in that last 15 or 20 minutes of the half is high, and for us it's the other way around. And we're very well aware of when we score a lot of points towards the end of the game. So but what we need to do is make sure we go into the dressing room well and truly in the game, and I think that's going to be a big emphasis for us, and I think discipline in that second quarter is going to be huge, as it is right across the game, because these games, finals, come down to fine margins at times.
And just on Thomas Williams, what have you done in training, or what have you seen that perhaps that suggests that he's there, not in terms of fitness, but match sharpness? Yeah,
that's the key, really. And so for him, it'll be coming off the bench. Look, he's got a box of tricks. He's a very talented player, as we know. We started him in the first game against Ireland, unfortunately picked up the injury. But, he brings a little bit of X factor, and that may or may not be required in that last quarter of the game. So I think it'll be an exciting time for him coming into the game.
And just finally, I guess a question that a lot of coaches ask themselves, but how do you stop Antoine Dupont?
Yeah, that is a good question. He's a very good player, isn't he? Look, I think when you focus too much on one player, it opens up for others. So we're making sure that everybody understands their role in our defensive system. We understand that they have a lot of threats across the park. So communication is going to be huge, and it's trusting the guy inside you and outside you. And I think, but he is one that is world class, no doubt about it.
Cheers, Wayne. All the best.
Thank you.
Hi, Wayne. Just how much has the focus for you this week been not so much on the sort of on-field coaching, the rugby skills, etc., but more the sort of psychological side of things, keeping feet on the ground and just making sure everyone isn't too fired up? Yeah,
and there's a lot of little conversations that go on between coaches and players, and then little groups within the team. And certainly those conversations have taken place. I know Alan Wynne actually in one of his chats earlier in the week talked about that exact thing. It's about Saturdays when we need to bring all the energy, the mental energy, and physically be right. So this week's really about just getting the boys with a full tank of gas for Saturday. Making sure we don't overtrain and overplay the game and overthink the game too early on.
when it comes to that side of things, do you almost take a sort of back seat because you've been in this game a long time, but this is a position you've never been in, whereas the likes of Alan Wynne and George and John Davis have been quite a few times in this position. So do you let them kind of do the talking?
Oh, look, no matter what level of the game you're at, when you've got senior players there, they're the guys that have to play the game on the field. So you're wanting that input all the time. And it's just getting the balance right between input from coaches and players. And certainly when you've got 14 of the 15 in the starting lineup that have won a Grand Slam before, you want that experience and those conversations to come out. It gives confidence across the whole group. And
you talk about the balance. It's also about getting that balance right between being fired up enough, but not too fired up. Is that a difficult balance to strike?
Look, I think it's keeping our feet on the ground and realising, it is another game of rugby. Yes, there's a big prize on the line, but obviously in the other 4 games, we've had to get results to be in this position. So there's always pressure to win. And I think for us, it's just about making sure each day we get out of it what we need to. And I think we've had a pretty good week so far.
Thanks, Wayne, and best of luck.
Thank you.